Bob Huggins comes back to Bramlage with his 19th ranked Mountaineers, but Kansas State, well, they've got reason to cheer. The Wildcats are off to a 10-2 start. Welcome to the Little Apple of Manhattan, Kansas. Along with former Nebraska Omaha head coach Kevin Lehman, I'm Dave Armstrong. And coach, today we tip off the Big 12 and what should be another fantastic year. Right now, 5 teams in the top 25 in the country. A full slate of games today, ending with number 11 Iowa State at number 3 Oklahoma on ESPN2.
You've got Buddy Hield, the leading scorer for Oklahoma in the Big 12, against George Niang, the chess piece that Steve Prohl can move all over the board. It's going to be a great matchup. We got them all day long.
Well, you see Kansas, they're going to take on Baylor, who's also ranked in the top 25. And here, it's West Virginia and the Mountaineers with their frenzied attack against Dean Wade and these Kansas State Wildcats, who have surprised everyone getting off to this 10-2 start.
Been a great start, but they've got 3 freshmen, their top 6. They have not seen this type of pressure. West Virginia wants to make this a 100-yard sprint. K-State would prefer the pace of a marathon.
You look at Justin Edwards, only 3 guys that had significant minutes for Kansas State last year, and somehow Bruce Weber, I think he's done maybe his best job of coaching ever, starting with dismissing some players from last year's team and then getting this group of young guys, including this guy from St. John, Kansas, Dean Wade, to play at the level they're playing.
Well, Dean Wade's going to be a special player for the Wildcats, extremely talented, a great find for Bruce Weber.
He's going to be important today in handling the ball against this press.
Well, you got a 4-man that can handle, catch, pass, and dribble. It helps your press offense tremendously, so we'll see if Dean Wade can handle that.
The opening tip goes to the Mountaineers. Williams averaging almost a double-double this year. Good defense on the perimeter for the Wildcats. Shot clock down to 8. Poked away and stolen. What a play by Wade in the corner. All the way down to Stokes.
But Bruce Weber talked about his defense making stops. One of the reasons why West Virginia cannot set up their press unless they score.
Kansas State worried about turnovers today. Well, they just got the Mountaineers to turn one over.
Both teams excellent defensively, but they just do it in different styles. The Wildcats' half-court defense is excellent.
The freshman Ahmad goes baseline, and a blocking foul inside. This will be the first on Stephen Hurt.
Well, baseline drive, we've seen those new rules. You've got to get outside that arc, and also you cannot put your body on a driver or your hands.
Mills, that's a charge. Another turnover for the Mountaineers.
A good start for Kansas State, as West Virginia has yet to get one up on the rim, but now they get a chance to set this pressure defense we've talked so much about.
So the turnover, and Dean Wade has been involved in both of them. Here comes the trap. How do you prepare for this kind of pressure you're going to see all day? 3-pointer off, no good. Ahmad with the rebound.
Well, Buzz Williams for Virginia Tech used 8 players in his practices that simulate the press. He said it wasn't enough.
In that game, West Virginia beat Virginia Tech 88-63. And there's a nice shot from the freshman, Issa Ahmad.
Well, Ahmad, a highly touted freshman out of Ohio for Coach Bob Huggins.
Some help defensively by Devin Williams. All of a sudden, Nwundu looked up and saw a wall.
Williams is a big man. They're 6'9", 255.
3-point attempt, way off target from Holton. He's only a 20% 3-point shooter. Scramble for the ball, and we've got a tie-up. The arrow will give the ball to the Wildcats. Now you look at Bruce Weber in his 4th year, and as I mentioned, I think he's doing his finest job of coaching. In fact, Wildcats are off to their best start since his 1st year here at K-State.
Well, we watched him practice yesterday, and everything was detailed. Very impressed. And of course, when you get in conference play, Dave, that scouting book is much larger because you know from past experience the tendencies of the opponent.
There's a turnover created by the pressure, and Holton, he misses the chip shot. Gets his own rebound, battle for that rebound, and here comes Edwards. That's the one thing about West Virginia, too. If they miss a shot, they're very good at rebounding their misses. That one's kicked.
The Mountaineers attack the offensive glass, and usually they have you outnumbered if it's a turnover because they have more people up front.
So here's Bob Huggins. You see what he has done in his 9th year at his alma mater after spending 1 year here at Kansas State, turning this program around, winning 23 games here and going to the NIT. First postseason appearance for the Wildcats in 8 years.
He really got this program going. Of course, Frank Martin came in, and now an excellent job by Bruce Weber.
That pass lucky to get through to Hurt. Shot clock at 3. Little fade away. Oh, nice touch by Edwards.
You can see K-State attack those shooters with hands high.
That'll be another foul, and this one on Ahmad, another charge.
Well, excellent defense by K-State. They've kept their hands off. You see them attack shooters, hands up in the air. We talked about the new rules. You've got to show your hands. And the offense cannot gain any advantage with that little forearm push-off.
On the fly, here comes Brown. He'll now pull it back out. That's the one thing against this press. If you get a chance, you've got to attack. Three-pointer rings true for Stokes. Kamau Stokes, boy, he lit up North Carolina with 6 trays against the Tar Heels.
He can get hot and heat it up, but Bruce Weber did what he wanted against that pressure. Threw it over the top. Therefore, there was no trap.
Just on a foul inside. This one called against the Wildcats.
Really good ball movement here by K-State as they swing. Stokes underneath, wide open in the corner.
Stokes now 2 for 3 in the game, 5 points to lead the Wildcats. Butke checks in for K-State. A walk-on, getting significant minutes. You're going to see 10 different guys for the Mountaineers today. This is Phillip. Oh, good pass. And there's Elijah Macon, who's coming on strong. And if not for Devin Williams, he'd be getting all kinds of playing time.
Well, that's just great penetration and a dish. Drew the defender.
Another 3. Not this time. Macon with a rebound. Here comes Miles. 2-on-2 break. He'll take it right to the rack. Nice play by Daxter Miles. 4 straight points now by the Mountaineers. Butke trapped. Ooh, that one lucky to get through. Stokes stumbles his way to the hoop. They're going to call that goaltending. Tariq Phillip not happy. Neither is his coach, Bob Huggins, with that call. But the Wildcats with a 3-point lead. Bruce Weber has to be happy with the way his team has handled the West Virginia pressure so far. His Wildcats up 8-6 from Bramlage Coliseum. I'm Dave Armstrong along with Kevin Lehman. Kevin, I would say so far Kansas State has passed the test.
Well, they really have. They've got off to a good start, and the four-man has been so important, like Dean Wade catching an inbounds pass, relieving some pressure for Kansas State, and they've attacked the press at the other end. Very good decisions.
By the way, during that timeout, one of the threes from Kamau Stokes was ruled a 2, so it's 8-6 instead of 9-6. They took a point off the board for the Wildcats. Bob Huggins still not happy about that last goaltend call, but he can smile. He's been around a while, and so has Tom O'Neill, the official he was talking to.
He's working the official. He's going to get the next call, Dave. Now a little pressure by the Wildcats.
Now, the Mountaineers getting a taste of their own medicine.
It's good for the goose, good for the gander.
Phillip with that high dribble. Looking inside, nothing there. Shot clock down to 8. Macon. Oh, and a blocking foul against Dean Wade.
We'll give you a look at this goaltend at the other end by Phillip.
It wasn't off the glass, and it looked like it was on its way up.
Well, Bob Huggins did not win that argument. That was 2 points for the Wildcats.
Well, Macon not good at the free throw line this year. Saw him shooting a lot of free throws both yesterday in practice and today before the game. He is under 50% on the year now, 18 for 39.
Well, it's an adventure when Macon steps to the line.
And pretty much at his average, he goes 1 for 2.
That last nice high release by Macon on that last free throw. Now the pressure. 4 yellow jerseys up there above the free throw line.
Here they come on the attack. A pull-up jumper, and that'll be a foul. And Barry Brown will go to the line to shoot a couple.
Well, we saw Kansas State drill time and time again yesterday in attacking 2-on-1s at the end of pressure. Just what Brown did in that situation.
Well, you look at, this is not Page, this is Brown of Kansas State, Barry Brown. He's a freshman out of St. Petersburg, Florida. And Brown is one of a slew of freshmen on this team. They have so many newcomers on this squad. 10 newcomers in all, 7 of them are freshmen.
And Brown gives the Wildcats some real pop off the bench. That averaging just under 7 points a game. An excellent free throw shooter.
Well, he was a high scorer in high school. He scored almost 2,000 points in his high school career.
And Kansas State's pressure a little bit different. They want to keep the ball in front. Take some time off the shot clock.
Phillip behind the back move, gets into the paint. That one got to Page, and then he is fouled. Now coming up today, we've got 3 more college football bowl games, and 2 of them have great interest to the teams watching, the fans of the teams watching this game. Of course, Kansas State next up. They'll take on Arkansas in the Liberty Bowl at 3:20 Eastern time. And then after that, the Valero Alamo Bowl, Oregon and TCU. And then we cap it off tonight with West Virginia and Arizona State in the Cactus Bowl at 10:15. All 3 games also streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app. They're going to take a look now as Tom O'Neill will go over to the monitor and an official review of this last bucket or last foul. They're seeing if there was contact above the shoulders. That looks like a basketball play to me, doesn't it?
Well, we got a second look right there. Comes down pretty hard on the right shoulder. We'll see what the officials rule as they're just about 10 feet away from us.
They're going to see if it's excessive contact.
Yeah, Bert Smith just came over and told us. And here's another view. The penetration.
I don't know if that's excessive contact. No. I mean, you can't really rule intent. That's not what they're looking at. They're looking to see if the contact from DJ Johnson was excessive or not.
And it came down over the right shoulder of the shooter. So you have to, is he making a play on the ball, or was it excessive contact by DJ Johnson?
Now they're going to review. The 3 officials get together. It's Tom O'Neill, Bert Smith, and Marcus Pettigrew. So now they're going to ask Bert Smith to come over and take a look. First, the other 2 officials look, and now Bert Smith will come over.
So we'll get another view of this. That's DJ Johnson playing the ball, comes down hard on the right shoulder.
I believe they're just going to call this a basketball play and not a flagrant foul.
Well, from the reaction of the crowd.
You know what? Now it is a ruled a flagrant. Excessive force by DJ Johnson. And Bruce Weber can't believe it. To be honest with you, I can't either. From that, I just thought his arms came down. I didn't think that he was using excessive force. I just thought it was a basketball play. Your thought?
Well, we weren't on the end of it, so we don't know how hard he got hit. Went down pretty hard, and Page might have sold it a bit.
So you think it was excessive?
I think it was the way it came down over the right shoulder.
All right. We'll take another look from this angle.
Right there on the right shoulder. Missed the ball and then pulled Page down to the floor.
All right.
We can agree to disagree on that one,
Yeah,
Dave.
I think the officials did too. I mean, I think that's why all three took a look.
It's a difficult call to make.
Yeah. Usually they err on the side of caution. Nathan Adrian looking in on that high-low. Nothing there. Good defense. Carter with a three. No. There's another make off a miss. Jay-Sean Page. No one does it better than the Mountaineers. 22 points a game off second chance opportunities.
And their guards rebound the ball, Dave, because they're going to set that press. They send all five to the glass. Bob Huggins' guards get on the glass, and that's what Coach Weber said. His guards have to really rebound today. That was his key stat to look at, how well the guards rebounded.
Yeah, that was interesting when you asked him what's the key thing you're going to look at in the box score, and he said guards rebounding. First thing he said.
Because the bigs are going to be tied up.
That was tipped out by Williams. That'll belong to Kansas State.
The bigs are going to be in a wrestling match when that ball comes off the glass, so your guards got to go in there and clean up the loose ball rebounds.
Now these sideline entry passes aren't easy against the Mountaineers.
And you know what Bob Huggins told me about his biggest key stat was turnovers. His team takes the ball from you, Dave, but they give it back too many times.
That's right. Now coming up next here on ESPNU, another Big 12 showdown in Lubbock, Texas. Little backdoor play. Stokes will bring it back out. Butke fouled. That's a foul on Williams.
Butke with a nice head fake to freeze Williams and put it on the deck. So it's going to be ball under for Kansas State.
And a fresh 30 on the shot clock. All the way out to Edwards. Reset the offense from there. Edwards has been a stat sheet stepper this year, and he takes it right at Adrian.
Oh, tremendous play, creates a little contact, no call, but able to keep his eye on the prize and kiss it off the window.
Bruce Weber was quick to point out last year's 2 games against West Virginia, both won by the Mountaineers. He said, we just missed a ton of free throws in both games. Phillip again drives in, and he's fouled by Stokes. That'll be the 5th team foul on the Wildcats.
Excellent move by Justin Edwards. A high post screen. He sees the gap, attacks, and scores.
Phillip a 3. That's way short. But again, tipped home. There's Jay-Sean Page.
Again, a guard with the offensive rebound for West Virginia.
Stokes feeling the trap. Butke. Good bounce pass inside, and that's another foul. This one on Jonathan Holton.
We watched Kansas State simulate that exact type of possession time and time in practice. Come at him 3-on-2. Stop at that free throw line, bounce pass underneath. Excellent offensive play by the Wildcats.
Now Stephen Hurd will go to the line. Coach, how many times have you seen a defender say, I never touched him. I kept my arms straight up, but you can clearly see on the replay. And I don't think the players actually feel it, but that arm coming down, it happens every time.
Yeah, you've got to keep high to the ceiling. With the new directives, they talk about the defensive player owning a cylinder to the ceiling. You cannot move out of that cylinder with your arms. You're going to get the call.
And this foul inside on Justin Edwards. That's the 6th team foul on Weber's Wildcats.
Now, we've seen Page get offensive rebounds. One of the reasons why is because West Virginia's got the guards up there ready to press. They don't run back and guard the hoop on shots. They attack the glass. If it goes in, they're right up there for pressure. Different type of style. But it leads to a lot of offensive rebounds by Bob Huggins' guards.
Page's 3 won't go. And finally, it comes into the arms of Dean Wade. Here comes Awandu. Hasn't really been a factor yet in this game.
I was going to say that Awandu's been very quiet. And this is the type of open court game where he can be very effective as a slasher.
Like that. But he traveled. That's a turnover for Kansas State. Well, good one developing here in Manhattan with the Wildcats leading by 1. Then in this game, and you see Kevin Lehman, he's over there eavesdropping on Bruce Weber's huddle. We'll get some thoughts from the coach on what Bruce Weber has to say to his team. He's got to be happy about a couple of things. One, the fact that they are shooting 67%, but also they've only turned the ball over 2 times in this game against this high pressure of the Mountaineers. And right now the Wildcats have this 1-point lead, and Coach Lehman's coming back over to join us here. And Coach, I know you got a chance to eavesdrop on what Bruce Weber had to say. What did he have to say?
There was some coaching going on there, Dave. First of all, we already addressed. He reminded his players their guards are going to rebound. You got to get a body on the West Virginia guards. And then he talked on offense about if they're going to overplay, we got a back cut. Also dribble and penetrate. And then last of all, set your press offense. Get to your spots. Spacing in the press offense.
Almost a 5-second call. One of the things Coach told us yesterday, too, after practice, he doesn't mind if they throw it up into the band on an inbounds play rather than just give them what he calls a pick 6. That's Awandu finally getting into the action here for K-State.
Well, Dave, what Coach Weber meant there, he did not want live ball turnovers.
Right. That
would turn into points. Throw it up, kick it up into the band, set your defense, and make him play 5-on-5. West Virginia wants to play with numbers.
Carter. Cut off. Miles, tough shot. And 1 and done as Edwards cleans the glass.
And Kansas State with only 2 turnovers. They have handled this pressure in excellent fashion today.
Step through by Edwards, and he's fouled on the play. K-State has hit their last 4 field goal attempts, and the foul here goes against Javon Carter.
When Bob Huggins is yelling at his team, don't foul. That was another concern of his. We turn the ball over too much, and we foul too much.
Now Kansas State, very important for them to hit their free throws today. They were just 1 of 3 at the stripe coming into that free throw by Justin Edwards, who's a 70% free throw shooter on the year and the 2nd leading scorer on this team.
And one of the questions I had for Coach Weber, did you shoot a lot of extra free throws over break? Because you know you're going to get to the line when you play against West Virginia.
Offensive foul. That's the 2nd foul against Carter.
Carter having a tough day at the office.
Boy, Stokes did a good job of just getting in underneath him.
And outside the arc, set his feet, was there in plenty of time.
Tipped away, but right to Wade.
And we talked about the importance of Wade in the press offense. He's up there, big target, soft hands, great presence for the freshman. He's going to be an excellent player in the Big 12. I love this kid.
I do too. I think before he's done here, he's going to certainly be all conference. He's that kind of talent. And Dean Wade from a very small town of St. John, Kansas.
Well, what a steal for Kansas State. This is a young man, Dean Wade, who didn't play in the big AAU circuit, so wasn't seen by a lot of people. And Bruce talked about going to that high school.
Yeah. He said you start with kindergarten, elementary school, middle school, high school, all in the same building.
Walking right through their big L, and the little kids were jumping on Dean Wade's shoulders.
Another missed free throw, though, for Kansas State. And the Wildcats have really struggled at the line in this game, now just 2 of 6. one-man trap in the corner. And that's a 5-second call. How about that from DJ Johnson?
Well, he's using the sideline and the baseline as a defender. Now understand, if you dribble the ball, there's no 5-second count. But if you hold it, Dave, the count's on. DJ Johnson swarming in the corner.
Johnson had foot surgery, broke his foot against Kentucky in the NCAA tournament. Still not 100%, but good defense there.
Well, he really tried to limit his minutes, DJ Johnson, because of the foot injury and his recovery.
5 turnovers for West Virginia, only 2 for K-State. Stokes drives in. Williams trying to rip that rebound away from Stokes, but he held on long enough to get a tie-up. This time the Mountaineers get the ball.
Well, good look at Devin Williams. That young man looks like he eats weights for lunch. 6'9", 255. And we talked about this entire West Virginia team. Very little body fat on these players. Their strength coach has done a fantastic job of getting these guys stronger. As we know, the Big 12, it's going to be physical, night in and night out.
Williams trying to corral his rebound. He does, and another tie-up. This one with DJ Johnson, and this time the Wildcats get it back. Well, it's the first big Monday of the season on ESPN. Man, is it ever big. At 7, Marcus Page and the Tar Heels, they'll take on Florida State. But then, go to raucous Allen Fieldhouse. Buddy Hield. The 3rd-ranked Sooners take on Perry Ellis and number 2 Kansas. Both games will be streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app. And depending on what happens today, that could be number 1 versus number 2.
Yeah, Iowa State at Oklahoma later this afternoon. And if Oklahoma can win that game, I think you're going to see KU move to 2. Oklahoma, KU number 1, Oklahoma number 2. That's after Michigan State's loss to Iowa.
Another 3-pointer, and all of a sudden the Wildcats have a 5-point lead, and Bob Huggins wants to talk it over. We look at the top 10 in the Associated Press, and of course Michigan State losing to Iowa. They're going to drop out of the number 1 spot. Kansas, they take on Baylor today. That will be a tough test at Allen Fieldhouse. And Oklahoma, they'll have their hands full with Iowa State today. That's in Norman. If those 2 teams they'll win, it will be number 1 Kansas, number 2 Oklahoma.
Big Monday, Dave. Can't wait.
By the way, the Big 12 right now has the number 1 overall RPI rating. And if that happens on Monday night where they're 1 versus 2, it'll be the 41st time in college basketball history the number 1 team has won 20 and the number 2 team has won 19. So it's not a given as to which team's going to win that 1 versus 2 matchup. West Virginia now 2 for their last 9, but they continue to offensive rebound. And a block, but a foul also on Budke, and that'll send Issa Ahmad to the line.
Oh, an excellent pass here. Ball off the backside, but look at this play. Little tip pass. But Ahmad couldn't finish now at the free throw line.
Last 6 points of this game have belonged to the Wildcats. Ahmad, a 57% free throw shooter, as you mentioned, one of the most touted freshmen in the country. Ahmad starting every game this year for the Mountaineers, but he misses both free throws. And wouldn't you know it, another offensive rebound for the Mountaineers.
That's 8 offensive boards for West Virginia and just 0 for Kansas State.
But then to emphasize what Bob Huggins told us yesterday, we get it and then we give it right back.
Just loose with the basketball. Value the basketball.
8 offensive rebounds for West Virginia. 8. And that's a 5-second call. So another turnover, only the 3rd of the game for the Wildcats.
Now that's another new rule effect because Bob Huggins and Bruce Weber cannot call a timeout from the bench trying to inbound the ball in that 5-second count.
Williams. Holton. Well, there have been a lot of rule changes in college basketball this year. You think some of them really benefit the way West Virginia likes to play.
Well, they want to play fast, reduction at 30-second shot clock. You can't reboot your offense after you go through that pressure, just no time. And then one less timeout per team. Boy, timeouts are like gold in your pocket now. You can't really use one to stop a run, or in that case right there, to avoid a 5-second count. And then that backcourt. If they tip it out of bounds, that 10-second count does not start over, does not reset. So we may see a situation now where you have to get the ball across with 2 or 3 seconds.
Now Bruce Weber setting his press offense against this pressure defense of the Mountaineers.
Well, their spacing has been excellent against this pressure. Inbound, and then they clear out, and he always said, don't leave your ball handler alone. You see, Awandu comes back to take the pressure off.
Stokes a three. That's his second. Wait, let me correct that. Remember, they changed the other one.
His toe on the line, but Stokes finding the range from outside.
7-point Wildcat lead, and that's an offensive foul, a push-off on Page.
Well, in the timeout, Bruce Weber talked about penetrate and pitch. Use West Virginia's aggressiveness against them.
Right now, it said the Wildcats had the Mountaineers rattled a little bit.
They've certainly handled this pressure. And one of the things Bruce Weber said, we have to make stops so that they cannot set up their press.
Closely guarded by Tariq Phillip, another foul on the Mountaineers.
Boy, here it is now. Great play and delivery by Awandu. 7-point lead for the Wildcats.
This was Bob Huggins in his huddle during the last timeout. And you can see, Coach, how animated he is. Look how red his face gets. He's upset with his team, trailing by 7 right now, despite all these offensive rebounds.
Well, we talked about the guards from West Virginia crashing the glass. And there's number 5, Jason Page, tipping one in. Working the glass hard. Holton, number 2 rebounder in the Big 12. West Virginia with 8 offensive boards, but they've also got 8 turnovers.
Yes.
They're giving it right back to them.
Well, only 6 points off those 8 offensive rebounds. Look at Barry Brown hitting 2 free throws here. And the Wildcats have pushed the lead to 9. And a foul inside. That's one on Wesley Awandu.
Well, Kansas State has made West Virginia play half-court offense, and they've done it by scoring at the offensive end and being able to set their defense and handling the press so well, Dave, that West Virginia can't get the tempo that Bob Huggins wants.
Ahmad going to the line. He's 0 for 2 today. Front end of the 1-and-1 is pure. A lot of times you say, well, a made free throw, you can set up your press. It won't matter if it's a make or a miss. They're going to press.
Good point. This is one team, West Virginia, that can press after missed free throws and sometimes after missed field goals.
One of the keys, too, in this press is they want the offensive player to catch the ball with his back to the opposing net.
Or turn his back on the dribble.
Wade goes charging in, and he's fouled from behind.
And you saw Stokes that time on the press offense. He kept the ball in the middle of the court. It's one thing Bruce Weber kept emphasizing. Stay off the sidelines. Keep the ball in the middle lane so you cannot be trapped.
In and out, no good for Dean Wade. who's a 70% free throw shooter. And last foul called against Phillip. That's his second. 2 missed free throws, though, and Wade doesn't take advantage. So far today, the Wildcats 4 for 10 from the free throw line.
They're leaving points out here on the court.
And a silly turnover by the Mountaineers. That's unforced.
Well, Dexter Miles was not ready for that pass. Went right off his chest into the Wildcat bench.
That's an early start for these Mountaineers, and so far they haven't had the wake-up call.
Again, Wade able to catch that inbounds pass to relieve the pressure.
Edwards will reset things. Still plenty of time. Wade double teamed. Edwards, 3. Here comes Phillip. Pull-up jumper in transition. That's a 2-pointer.
Well, nice rhythm by Phillip. Will step in 3 ball, trying to get the Mountaineers going.
That's a holding call against Myers.
Well, Phillip is known as an assist man, but he's going to take the matter under his own hands as he steps up. Drills that one from the top.
This will send Stokes to the line, 75% free throw shooter. Coach Huggins right in front of us.
You have a discussion with Bert Smith.
Yeah, you call
that
a discussion.
Last call. It wasn't an argument yet, but he was getting his point across to Bert Smith. But Bert wasn't going to move off that half-court line, get any close to Coach Huggins.
When you were coaching Nebraska Omaha, what could you do? Because right now, Kansas State, they should have a double-digit lead. They're just missing free throws. They're 4 for 11 from the line, now 5 of 12. What can you do as a coach to improve your team's free throw shooting?
It becomes you have to shoot repetition. It's muscle memory, but you can't simulate a full crowd, and all that pressure that West Virginia puts on you can affect your ability to make free throws.
And you're a little bit out of breath, aren't you, when you're taking on West Virginia, and that affects your free throw shooting.
And where's your legs out? That's part of the philosophy of West Virginia.
3-pointer from the wing, no good from Brown. Offensive rebound, Kansas State, their first of the game. Johnson. Nice help defensively by Ahmad. Going to give this ball to West Virginia. Crowd doesn't like the call. So it was last touch by the Wildcats.
Well, West Virginia talked about a quick double team on the block.
30-second timeout, Coach Weber. Now he's saying, I didn't call a timeout.
There you see the block.
Didn't look like he touched it again.
Now he's saying, I didn't call a timeout.
He's standing there aghast. First, he's upset about the ball wasn't tipped by Kansas State. It should belong to the Wildcats. Secondly, he charged him with a timeout. So now he'll take it. He's got the 30 seconds. He'll take it.
And West Virginia's already out on the court. We've had a little bit of everything in this game. Hey.
Pettigrew getting him back in the coach's box. And then Tom O'Neill looked over and said, all right, we'll give you a 30-second timeout.
Big 12 basketball, Dave.
See, it's like officials are like parents sometimes. When the kid is a little bit unruly, you got to give him a 30-second timeout.
Send him to his room.
Go to your room. From the short corner, no good. tipped around. And this one won by Myers.
And Bruce Weber not happy with that scrum either.
Now this is the kind of frenzied pace West Virginia's looking for.
Excellent point. This is what I was going to mention. They've got it speeded up. They're getting baskets in transition.
A little short arm by Edwards. Ahmad picks it up. Kansas State now has gone ice cold, 0 for their last 5.
But Dave, you mentioned it. This pressure works on your legs.
And just like that, West Virginia's tied the game at 25.
Well, when you play this style that West Virginia does, you're going to get runs. Now, Kansas State, they want to eliminate or slow down those runs. You can see, again, trying to keep the ball in middle court by Edwards.
10-1 run, no foul call on the sideline. Phillip goes in, make it a 12-1 run. And the 19th ranked Mountaineers have the lead.
And what they're doing, they're trapping Edwards here at half court.
Wide open look at a three. The bucket is good, a foul inside.
Well, that was an excellent split the trap by Edwards. The finest teammate in the far corner, but oh, there's what West Virginia wants to do. They want points on live ball turnovers. And this great half-court offense in that situation. A little excessive contact on the sideline. Stay off the sideline if you're Kansas State. They're going to use it. West Virginia will use the sideline as a defender.
And that last three made bucket. And a foul called on Nathan Adrian. So that's what puts DJ Johnson at the line. Both teams now in the double bonus. With 4:07 to go here in the first half. A spirited first half from Bramlage Coliseum. 2 more missed free throws, though, for Kansas State. And now the Wildcats are just 5 of 13 from the line today. Macon, nice move.
What did we hear Bob Huggins say yesterday? Drive the ball, drive the ball. Don't settle for the jumper. Make it with a strong move. Wandu's been quiet, Dave.
Very quiet, only 2 points.
I thought this would be a type of game where he could really slash at the end of the pressure.
Well, tried to throw a slashing pass that was easily picked off. Back to Carter. Adrian sets up with a 3 in transition. No. Here comes Corby Irvin. Lucky to get out of that trap. Irvin. And that's a blocking foul. Another foul called on Nathan Adrian. That'll be the 2nd foul on Adrian. Kansas State will be shooting free throws when we come back.
Yes.
Well, the 19th ranked Mountaineers, they trailed by 9 once upon a time, but the high pressure has brought West Virginia back into a 1-point lead.
They averaged 29 points off 22 turnovers. The Mountaineers, this high octane defense, they're on a big run now, 14-4. They've got 5 points off the Kansas State turnovers.
Well, the Wildcats certainly haven't taken advantage of the fact that West Virginia has been called for many fouls in this game because the Wildcats are just 5 for 14 from the free throw line. They'll be going back to the line right now to try to retake the lead. You look at Coach Weber saying, I never called a timeout. What I was saying to you was DJ Johnson never touched the ball. How did you award that to West Virginia? While they continue to discuss, these officials are going to get an earful today from both these coaches.
Well, and we talked about the new rules. The coach cannot call a timeout unless it's a dead ball. That was a dead ball situation. And I think Bruce was trying to signal the ball was tipped off the West Virginia player's hands.
Irvin hits both free throws. And Kansas State back to a 1-point advantage with 3 minutes to go in the first half.
Well, those are big free throws for Kansas State because they have to get the lid off when they're at the line, leaving a lot of points up there. It also made free throws, allows Kansas State to go back and set their defense and make the Mountaineers play half-court offense.
Carter's got it with 8 on the shot clock. Myers turns down a 3. Takes a tougher 2.
Wow, brought him off the bench. Myers, the big lift. Javon Carter's been quiet offensively.
Myers averaged 25 points a game last year in junior college. Three-pointer off target, no good. But a rebound for Dean Wade. A 1-2. That's what he can do.
That's what we've been waiting for, to see Awandu split the defenders and get to the rim. Great open court player, the leading scorer for Kansas State on the board.
Ahmad a 3. Kansas State all of a sudden doing a little better job on the glass. Backdoor play. A charge. No basket.
Well, that's the play Bruce Weber talked about in the timeout. Back cut, they're overplay.
Wait a minute, wait a minute. Now it's a blocking foul. The basket will count.
There's the foot definitely inside the arc.
Yes.
And this is where that other official can come out and help the lead official on that play, because he is looking for the defender's feet.
So the basket will count. The foul on Macon because he had a foot inside the arc.
And that's the exact play, Dave, that Bruce Weber told his team in that timeout. They're going to overplay the wings. You've got a back cut on the baseline. Make them pay for their aggressiveness.
Corby Irvin's been a nice spark off the bench. Chance for an old-fashioned three-point play here. And that free throw is short. 7 for 17, the Wildcats at the line. But still a three-point K-State lead. Looking inside to Williams. By the way, Williams, the leading scorer for West Virginia, has not scored in this game. 3 seconds in the paint. A turnover for the Mountaineers.
Yeah, great point. Williams averaging 15 and a half. Have not got any touches in his sweet spot.
Only 1 field goal attempt. No points at all for Williams, who averages 15 a game.
Well, I'd like to run that inside triangle with some baseline cuts off of it, but the size inside of Hurt and Wade and DJ Johnson have done an excellent job defending. Now again, you see Kansas State, they'll keep the ball in the middle of the court so they can't be trapped.
Only 5 turnovers for K-State in this first half. Little fadeaway jumper, no good from Hurt. Williams. His coach told him to drive it yesterday, and drive it he does to Elijah Macon, who drives it home.
Drives it in a nice post-to-post pass by Williams to Macon.
So Macon with 7 points, picking up the slack that Devin Williams left.
And Dean Wade has not scored for Kansas State, but he's done everything else. He's guarded Williams. He's relieved pressure in the press offense. He's also got on the offensive glass for Kansas State.
Awandu. That should have been a goaltending because it went off the glass. At the buzzer, no good. Well, the officials have missed some calls here in the first half. Kansas State with a 1-point advantage as we go into the locker room at halftime. Let's look at that last play again.
Awandu, we talked about his ability to penetrate and slash. But he gets it up. You're right, Dave. That was off the glass.
Well, it's halftime. And right now, Kansas State with a 1-point advantage. Let's get you to Brendan Fitzgerald and Dino Gaudio for the ESPNU halftime report. Gentlemen, take it away. The Wildcats, 7 of 17 from the free throw line here today. And rebounding has got to all of a sudden turn things around for the Wildcats, because right now they're getting out-rebounded overall by 15.
But they're making up for it because they're not turning the basketball over.
How about Kamau Stokes and what he has done in that first half with 10 points. Not only that, but handling that pressure. What a freshman this kid is.
He has kept the ball in the middle of the court just like his coach has told him. Therefore, West Virginia cannot get traps, cannot use the sideline and the half-court line as defenders. Impressed by both Stokes and Justin Edwards' ability to handle the rock.
West Virginia with the ball to start the second half. And a whistle and a foul inside. This is on Dean Wade. That's 2 on Wade now. Wade, even though he didn't score in that first half, I thought he really made his presence felt for the Wildcats.
We handled the ball cleanly, got on the glass, got some offensive rebounds. Just like there, he picks up a loose ball. Oh, but the freshman gave it right back.
Miles with a nice move.
Miles quiet in the first half. Again, Wade comes up to relieve the pressure.
Here comes the trap on Awundu, and it's tipped away again. Now Awundu trying to get it back. So far, West Virginia has really come out strong in the second half.
Well, one of the things Bob Huggins does at halftime, they chart where the turnovers occur, where the ball's inbound, and they change their press accordingly. So what Kansas State saw in the first half of pressure is going to be different here in the second half.
So they're going to have to make the adjustment.
They have to adjust. West Virginia's made the adjustment on the press. Kansas State has to make the reads and adjustments.
How about that move by Awundu?
He was quiet in the first half. They need to get Awundu the rock and let him go to work.
And Awundu with a rebound. Here come the Wildcats. Awundu. He was quiet in the first half. Not now.
He got the Bruce Weber speech at halftime. Young man, you got to step it up. This game's made just for you. Open court, Awundu, the slasher, can get to the rim.
8 points now for Awundu. Carter, he just threw it away. On a little pick and roll, he just threw it up into the stands. Here's Awundu.
Boy, nice. He feels the defensive pressure, spins away, and now in the open court, take it right to the rim.
Sideline entry pass, and thrown into the corner to Edwards.
You can hear Hurt yelling wolf. So there's this point guard that they're coming from behind.
What a tough shot for Edwards. Wow. Transfer from Maine, and all of a sudden Kansas State back to a 5-point advantage.
They've made a great point. Stokes, the freshman, has been sensational handling the basketball, along with Edwards.
First three-pointer made for West Virginia, Jayshawn Page.
Jayshawn Page is the best three-point shooter. Kansas State talked about finding him at the three-point line.
So they keep that streak alive with that three-pointer made. Awundu again. No, gets his own tip back.
You notice what Bruce Weber did at halftime? He's getting the ball in Awundu's hands against the pressure, letting him get to the middle and drive it. Good move by Coach Weber.
Awundu with 6 points already here in the second half.
He wasn't getting touches in this first half because he was down court. Now he's the receiver.
Let's see if Williams can get something going. A little push off, but a foul came first on Stephen Hurt.
Well, foul on Hurt, but Hurt has been excellent guarding Williams in the first half.
Williams shaking up a little bit on the play and maybe a little upset as well. And you could see Bert Smith, the official, yelling back at Devin Williams, "What do you want? I called the foul."
It's hard to imagine that big guy can get hurt, but he is limping off to take a seat. Maybe more frustration than anything, Dave.
Yeah, he hasn't scored.
Well,
That'll frustrate you.
Stephen Hurt's been excellent defensively on him, along with Dean Wade, the freshman.
Page trying to turn that corner. Phillip, step backer. Nice shot. Tariq Phillip, guy who played his junior college ball down the way in Independence, Kansas.
Thanks. So we had 8 players above the free throw line, 4 defenders, 4 offensive players. Well, there's that sideline spin that Bob Huggins wants to trap.
Stokes pulls up. Three-pointer off, no good. Three-pointer rings true for Jonathan Holt, and after going 0 for 8 in the first half from three-point range, the Mountaineers are 2 for 2 in the second half.
Holton scores a lot of his points off the press, but Kansas State not turning over. Holton having to step outside to score in the half-court offense.
Awundu will go to the line. Back and forth we go. West Virginia on top by 1 right now.
ESPN's
Having lots of fun today at Bramlage Coliseum in Manhattan, Kansas. With Kevin Lehman, I'm Dave Armstrong, watching Bob Huggins and his West Virginia Mountaineers getting all they can handle with Kansas State today. Right now a 1-point lead, but Awundu can change all that at the free throw line. And Awundu has been terrific here in the second half after really being almost non-existent in the first.
But part of that was the change in the press offense by Bruce Weber at halftime. Get the ball in number 25's hands. Wesley Awundu, their leading scorer.
Nails both free throws, and Kansas State back in front by 1.
Awundu with just 4 in the first half. He's got a quick 8 here already for Kansas State in the second half.
Adrian being guarded by Budke. And a whistle and a foul. They're calling it close here in the second half. Austin Budke with the foul. Super Tuesday on ESPN, presented by Hotels.com. Should be a great game, too. We've got best freshman in college basketball, Ben Simmons. He can do pretty much anything he wants. And LSU taking on Tyler Eulis and the 10th-ranked Wildcats at 9 Eastern. Game also streaming live on Watch ESPN and the Watch ESPN app. Three-pointer, no. Well, you talk about fighting for a rebound. That's exactly what Corby Irvin did.
Oh, excellent block out by Irvin, and then the chase down the loose ball rebound.
One of those key rebounds by a guard for the Wildcats. Wade, that's a foul. That'll be on Elijah Macon. That's his second.
Watch this rebound, gets by him, chase down the loose ball. And again, Bruce Weber said, what's the most important stat to win tomorrow? Rebounding by my guards.
I think he would put that as number 1. 1A for Bruce Weber would be free throw shooting.
They've certainly done an excellent job of handling the full court pressure by West Virginia.
They certainly have. Only 7 turnovers for the Wildcats today against a team that leads the nation in forcing turnovers. Miles with a step back. That's a 2-pointer, no good. Fight for the rebound, goes into the arms of Page, and yet another offensive stick back for Jayshawn Page. Page now the leading scorer for the Mountaineers with 10 points today.
He's got 6 just on offensive rebounds. The little guard, the smallest guy in there, attacking the window.
Irvin almost lost the handle. That's a walk. DJ Johnson got ahead of himself.
Well, a turnover, but it does not allow West Virginia to get a live ball turnover and run with numbers. They have to set their half-court offense. K-State's been spectacular here in their half-court defense today. They have really guarded West Virginia well.
Yeah, we're talking a lot about Devin Williams, who hasn't scored, but Javon Carter, who averages 13, has only 2 points in the game.
Coach Huggins sat Carter, now just brought him back in the game.
Air ball. I think they're going to confer on this. Originally, they were going to give the ball to West Virginia, and now they'll give it to Kansas State, rightfully so. There was an air ball thrown up, and no one from K-State touched it.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they would have elected to give this to West Virginia, but it got the right call. It's back in Kansas State's hands. Now they got to get it inbounded.
And they can't. They inbounded instead to Macon, and then the ball kicked by Edwards. Well, it's that scouting report by Bob Huggins and charting those inbounds passes. They've made the adjustment, and they're creating a lot more frenzy here in the second half.
No question, David. An excellent point. And he told me yesterday about charting, looking at halftime, changing the press accordingly. It's been effective, and there's an inbound underplay. The special teams of basketball be able to score with your out-of-bounds plays.
Corby Irvin will bring it up.
A good catch by Johnson.
Didn't quite set himself, and somehow throws home a little hook shot anyway.
Put his name on that one. Soft hands. DJ Johnson. 2 great catches. Then the little jump hook.
Wildcats 5 of 7 from the field in the second half. 53% for the game. Carter quickly doubled. Miles pulls up for a 3, way off target. Tipped around, who's got it? They're going to give this ball to West Virginia.
Jay-Sean Page has been a problem on the offensive glass. He chases that one down, knocks it off of the foot of Irvin. Another possession for West Virginia. They have upped the pressure here in the second half, been more effective as they made adjustments at halftime.
Yeah, there are only 5 turnovers for K-State the entire first half, already 4 here in the second half. Ahmad, that 3-pointer won't go. And a good rebound by Stephen Hurt. Oh, nice move by Brown. He doesn't rest, goes all the way to the hole. It's knocked out by Ahmad. It'll stay with K-State.
And Stokes telling him, hey, I'm open in the corner. Penetrate and pitch. But Brown, again, caught in the sideline, dodged a bullet there, is able to split the trap.
Interesting, we haven't seen Devin Williams come back since he went out early in this half.
Well, Williams has not been effective at the offensive end, a lot of it because of Stephen Hurt's defense.
Wonder right now on the bench. How about that shot? Well, a 2-pointer for Wade.
We've talked up the freshman, and he shows his skill level on that OB play.
Hit the big game winner against Georgia, was named the Big 12 Newcomer of the Week after that shot. Page, no. Here comes Brown. Quickly up to Stokes. Little change of speed. And a whistle and a foul. We got a timeout. 11:45 remaining in the game.
Well, the freshman from St. John, Kansas. A little pick and slide out. Ripples the net for Kansas.
Yeah, Kansas State a 2-point advantage right now with 11:45 remaining from Bramlage Coliseum in Manhattan. Coming up, first big Monday of the year, and man, what a big Monday. 7th ranked North Carolina taking on Florida State. And then how about this? We could have #1 versus #2 depending on how the games come out today. Oklahoma plays Iowa State. Kansas has Baylor today. If they both win, they'll be 1 and 2 in the country. That's coming up on big Monday. I can remember the 1990 Big 8 tournament when we went to that tournament 1, 2, and 3 in the country. And you see the last 5 games 1 versus 2. And look at how many times the #2 team has won that matchup.
Well, this is going to be a great one Monday night. It's 2016, Dave. Basketball, Big 12 hoops.
Yeah, 1990, I remember going to Kemper Arena in Kansas City, calling the Phillips 66 Big 8 tournament at the time. Oklahoma was #1 in the country, Kansas was #2, and Missouri was #3.
Wow. I bet you had a good time that afternoon.
That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. Well, here comes Kamau Stokes. Stokes has really been special today with 10 points. Now 2 of 3 from the line. And by the way, the Wildcats have done a much better job at the free throw line here in the second half after going 7 of 17 in the first half, 4 of 5 after the break. Tipped around and back into the arms of K-State.
Well, Dean Wade kept that one alive. Offensive rebound by K-State, giving West Virginia a little taste of their own medicine. Stokes has been outstanding in handling the ball.
He sure has. Stokes does not have a turnover in this game. How about that little floater by Barry Brown?
We talked about Brown, a little punch off the bench for the Wildcats. He has not disappointed. Another freshman, Barry Brown, #5.
Kansas State continues to guard that perimeter, and you almost get the sense that Devin Williams, frustrated by not scoring, just took a shot.
Well, Bruce Weber talked about playing monster on those big men of West Virginia, giving him that 15, 17-foot shot. That time, Williams made him pay.
Now Williams, his first 2 points of the game. Hurt. Well, he can set a pick, huh? Yeah. Brown with a fadeaway, and he is fouled by Jonathan Holton.
We talked about setting tempo in this game, and Kansas State has done it with their offense the majority of this game, making West Virginia guard in the half court, because West Virginia wants to guard you at 90 feet and turn you over.
The big question for Bruce Weber's team, obviously, coming into this game was how are they going to handle this relentless pressure of the Mountaineers, especially with 7 newcomers on this team, or 7 freshmen on this team, 10 newcomers. Boy, they've handled it well.
3 freshmen in Bruce Weber's top 6. I have been impressed because they didn't play anybody in non-conference that gave them this type of pressure. One of the questions we asked Coach Weber yesterday, have you seen this before, and how do you simulate it in practice?
Said they hadn't seen it, but they've handled it well. Barry Brown, although he misses another free throw, and just as we talked about them doing a better job after the break, all of a sudden back to their missing ways, and now 12 of 25 from the line today.
The last 2 times these teams have played, it's been 6 points or less. The margin of victory edge to the Mountaineers in those 2 games.
Tariq Phillip being counted on a lot here today. With Javon Carter only a couple of points and in foul trouble with 3 fouls. Nice spin move. That's been the story offensively for the Mountaineers. Jayshawn Page.
Jayshawn has been exceptional at the offensive end and on the offensive glass for the Mountaineers.
14 points, 5 rebounds for Page.
And he came off a game with 17 points against Virginia Tech.
Brown for 3. That one tipped out by Edwards. It'll go to West Virginia. Edwards is one of those quiet guys that you look up at the end of the day and he's in double figures and points and rebounds, and he just really goes about his business, doesn't he?
Stat sheet stuffer. Leads the team in rebounds, assists, steals, and minutes played for Kansas State.
Phillip avoids the contact with Stephen Hurt. We're back tied again.
Well, Phillip's been impressive for the Mountaineers. He is 4 of 5 from the field.
Tied for the 8th time in this game. Edwards, high off the glass, no. Wade, nice ball fake, and he draws the contact. And that'll be on Jonathan Holton, who picks up yet another foul.
Well, you're going to play in this game, you better lace them up tight, because there's some bodies banging. We talked about both of these squads having their football teams playing later tonight. And you might need some helmets and pads on in this game.
Excuse me, the foul there was on Adrian, not in Jonathan Holton, who's not even in the game right now. They signaled the number wrongly, and so Adrian picks up the foul, and that's worse news actually for West Virginia, because for Adrian it's his 3rd foul. Wade now 5 points, all in the second half.
Well, that freshman, he is just cool as they come. Cool, calm, collected.
Adrian, blocked by Wade. Good help. DJ Johnson came over, and then Wade finished the deal.
Well, Kansas State was going to double the post. Here comes Wade from behind. Excellent timing. As you see, West Virginia really trying to force the ball onto the blocks.
Phillip, high off the glass, no. Here comes Brown weaving himself through traffic.
And that's that pressure after a missed field goal by West Virginia.
And another foul on Nathan Adrian, who's just picked up number 4.
Well, Bob Huggins told his team to drive the ball, but we're seeing Kansas State having success driving the ball to the basket.
Bob Huggins looks down at that bench, getting a little thinner now, with Adrian having to come out with 4 fouls. Jonathan Holton will take his place. What a move by Wade.
Wow.
To coin a phrase.
Made the block at the defensive end. Excellent play at the offensive end. That freshman's growing up in a hurry in Big 12 play.
7 second half points. And Macon is fouled on the baseline. So we've got a timeout with 8:02 remaining in the game. And watch Wade go to work again on the inbound play.
Well, we talked about inbounds being the special teams of college basketball. Excellent play by Bruce Weber. Cleared out the side, little bounce pass, and Wade able to maneuver it into the basket.
Second foul on DJ Johnson. 4th team foul on Kansas State this half. West Virginia has 6. Wade will get a breather as they're close to the next media timeout. Boy, how about the contributions of Wade Nwundu here in the second half? In and out, no good, and Johnson with an impressive rebound. Kansas State has out-rebounded West Virginia 10-6 in the second half after getting out-rebounded by 15 in the first half. Nwundu picks it off. 3-on-1 break. Nwundu cleans it up.
And we talked about Nwundu's in the open court, how effective he can be. Let that break. They've got the ticket.
Timeout. Bob Huggins not happy as the Wildcats have gone on a roll and lead by 6. section fired up here today, and why not? Kansas State trying to pull off the upset of 19th ranked West Virginia at the Octagon of Doom. Lots to cheer about for K-State today as they have a 6-point advantage. They've led pretty much throughout, although we have had 18 lead changes, and Bob Huggins called a timeout to try to settle his team after watching K-State score the last 6 points of this contest.
And I just came from that Kansas State huddle. They again set their press offense. They said, we're not going to trade baskets. Let's build upon this lead.
14 turnovers for West Virginia, just 9 for K-State. You'd have thought those numbers would be reversed at least. In and out, no good. DJ Johnson can't get it home, and then up over the back, Barry Brown. So get a timeout. Just under 7 minutes to go. The Wildcats lead by 6. Now the start of the Big 12 season. Let's get you up to speed on what's happening in the Big 12. Right now, 5 teams currently in the AP top 25 with the nation's best non-conference winning percentage and the #1 RPI rating. Buddy Hield, he leads the way, averaging almost 25 points a game. Couple of injuries, Naz Mitru Long of Iowa State and Cam Ridley. Long's out for the season. Ridley, we're not sure, he just had foot surgery. Well, you look at what Kansas State has been able to do here in the second half, and Wade has really been a spark plug for them. After not scoring in the first half, Wade was 7 second-half points. Meanwhile, Wesley Owandu, who had just 4 points at the break, now has 14 in this game.
And what Bruce Weber has done, he's used 3 different players to handle the point guard duties with great success. We've seen Owandu there, we've seen Stokes and Edwards. Therefore, it doesn't allow West Virginia to wear out your point guard. 3 different guys can handle that basketball out front and start the offense for Kansas State.
You can see the Mountaineers, they're much better when they get the ball in the game into a frenzied pace. They're not as good in the half court.
It's allowed Kansas State to be able to set their defense.
And a reach-in foul here. And this one called against Owandu. And that'll be his 2nd foul.
And Kansas State, they're packing their defense in because West Virginia only shoots 31% from the 3-point line.
You know, West Virginia trailing by 6. It could be a lot worse if not for a nice performance by their senior guard, Jay-Sean Page, who now has 15 points in the game. He's the only one in double figures for the Mountaineers. You know, big Monday coming on ESPN. Can't wait. North Carolina, Florida State tip it off, and then could be #1 versus #2 depending on what happens today. And there's a lot of work today for both those teams. But if the home teams win, Oklahoma and Kansas today, we should have #1 versus #2 on Monday night.
Oh, what a matchup. Perry Ellis, Frank Mason, Wayne Selden from Kansas going against Lon Kruger's Oklahoma squad. Again, we're going to see Kansas State going to try to stay off the sidelines. Keep the ball in the middle lane. You see Owandu there staying in the middle. Back up dribble.
You stay in the middle to avoid being trapped along a sideline, right?
That, and also allows you more passing outlets. If you are trapped in the middle, you can throw it left or right, or down the middle.
A bad pass that time from Owandu.
Boy, Owandu, that's his 5th turnover.
Oh, good bounce pass from Dexter Miles to Javon Carter.
Now a little different pressure by West Virginia. Back in a 1-3-1. First time we've seen that this game.
Where do you attack a 1-3-1?
Every zone is soft in the middle, Dave. Soft spot in the middle, right where #1 just ran through.
So you flash into the middle with the shot clock down to 1. That'll be a shot clock violation. So right now, Kansas State has not made the adjustment to this zone defense of the Mountaineers.
Well, good move by Bob Huggins. He backed the pressure off. 1-3-1 half court, kind of a soft press. K-State did not adjust. Dead ball turnover. They get taken out of bounds. Again, Kansas State gets to set the defense.
Page. Well, he's been everywhere. He'll go back to the line again. And a foul here on D.J. Johnson.
And you can hear Bob Huggins telling him, drive the ball, drive the ball.
Page 2 for 4 at the line today. Coach Huggins getting rehydrated. Keep thinking back to what he was able to accomplish in his just 1 year here at Kansas State. He's still sort of a folk hero here in Manhattan for resurrecting this program that has such a storied past and a great history.
And humble about it, because when we asked, he said, hey, all they did was take him to the NIT.
Right. But boy, he set the table. And then, of course, Frank Martin took it from there. And now Coach Weber. And now you're surprised when K-State doesn't go to postseason. There for a while, they went 8 straight years without playing in the postseason. Not now.
And Bruce Weber with a Big 12 championship a few years ago.
That's right.
And here again, we see that 1-3-1 soft pressure.
These two coaches, by the way, Kevin, they are the last 2 Big 12 coaches of the year. Huggins won it last year, and Coach Weber won it 2 years ago.
And we're seeing a chess match by these two coaches right now as Bob Huggins changes his defense and Kansas State tries to adjust.
Got bailed out by a foul here. This one called on Jonathan Holton. Just reached in. That's his 3rd foul. Holton, who last year got himself into foul trouble a lot. Bob Huggins is beside himself right now.
Well, his team played great defense. Kansas State still hasn't adjusted to the 1-3-1 trap, and then his team fouled and bailed out the Wildcats.
He was pleading with his coach, please don't take me out. I'm getting back into the rhythm. Holton is that high energy guy. He's got that kind of personality where he was the kid in class who just couldn't sit still.
And he talked his way back into the game.
Yeah, how about that?
Nope, they can't decide whether to put him in or not.
Like, come on, please, let me in. Please, please, please. Keep me in. No. Oh, no, no. Well, you like the attitude of Holton, and he is going to come back in on the next whistle. 2 free throws there by Kamau Stokes. He's got 13 points in the game. Carter had to give it up. 3-pointer, good. Miles. And we're tied at 61 with under 5 minutes to go.
Huge play by Javon Carter, the sophomore out of Proviso East. Maywood, Chicago. They've had some players come out of that school, including Doc Rivers.
Kevin, you can throw everything else out now. With under 5 minutes to go, it comes down to who makes plays. Stokes trying to make a play, and he draws the contact. This foul is called on Dexter Miles.
Well, here's the penetration. And the kick out. Bottoms.
By the way, West Virginia today just 3 for 17 from 3-point range.
They've struggled from outside. That's why Kansas State has packed their defense in.
Stokes back at the line again. He hit 24 in that game we were talking about earlier against North Carolina when he hit 6 trays in that game. By the way, he and Dexter Miles were high school teammates in Baltimore. 2 more free throws. And by the way, K-State now 11 for 14 in the second half from the line.
Well, Stokes has not played like a freshman. We wonder if the 3 freshmen, the top 6 for Kansas State, would grow up in this game. They certainly have answered the bell.
Page, little step back jumper. Boy, has he been special today. Page now with 19 in the game, which ties a career high.
Well, that was great defense, but even better offense by Page. So that high post area open against this 1-3-1 zone.
We have been tied 10 times now in this game. We've seen 18 lead changes and a timeout taken by Kansas State. We'll take it with them. 3:41 to go. Don't go anywhere. And a game tied at 63.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of
look at Coach Huggins, and when he went to that 1-3-1 zone that really bottled up Kansas State, they haven't had a field goal in the last 4 minutes, so Bruce Weber's got to figure that out.
That's why he took the timeout, Dave. They've just been playing around the edge of that 1-3-1 zone, have not gotten any penetration. They need either dribble, penetrate the gaps, or throw it into the middle of the zone. Then you can go high-low or out the weak side.
Yeah, they told you about Texas Tech coming up. Here's the rest of the day on ESPNU. Tulsa and Cincinnati, then Memphis, South Carolina. Of course, Frank Martin's team unbeaten right now, 12-0. Georgia and Florida, San Diego State, and Utah State will cap it off at 10 Eastern tonight here on ESPNU. Of course, Wildcat fans are excited about playing Arkansas in the Liberty Bowl. That'll come up in about an hour and a half after this game. And then West Virginia plays later tonight in the Cactus Bowl against Arizona State.
Well, it's a full day if you're a Mountaineer fan or a Wildcat fan.
Unlucky on the bounce for Owandu. Owandu came flying out of that locker room after the break. Scored 10 quick points. He's been kind of silent in the last 5 minutes of this game.
He's been a little loose with the ball, Dave. He's got to tighten it up. He's turned it over too many times.
Page again. A little fadeaway blocked and a foul. And they've got Edwards with the foul here. And that'll put Page at the line. Stage has been set. College football playoff national championship game. This is going to be great. Presented by AT&T. Cannot wait to watch Alabama and Clemson Monday, January 11th at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN. And of course, you can watch it on the Watch ESPN and ESPN app. Who do you like?
I got to go with Alabama.
Okay. Well, we've been different today, so I'll just take Clemson, just to be different. I think it's going to be great. Both teams performed so well in what would be the semifinal games. Clemson so good in that second half against Oklahoma, and Alabama dominant against Michigan State.
I was impressed by that game against Michigan State.
By the way, Page with that one free throw gives him 20 points and a new career high. Again, the only Mountaineer in double figures.
Oh, he's going to stay with this zone. There it goes in the middle.
Wade. 9 points for the freshman.
The soft spot, and Wade found it right below the free throw line. Turning faced up. Excellent half-court offense by the Wildcats against the 1-3-1 zone.
Page again with a 1-2 guarding. Page really feeling it today. One and done though as DJ Johnson clears the glass. Owandu almost had his pocket picked by Page. Stokes. The dish inside, poked away. Here come the Mountaineers. Edwards. Now picked off by Carter, and a whistle and a foul. Both teams screaming for fouls on that last flurry.
Both coaches getting their words in with the officials.
And Bruce Weber yelling at his team to secure the ball, value the ball. His team will shoot a 1-and-1 here. The foul called on West Virginia, and Edwards will go to the line. Javon Carter, he picks up his 4th foul on that last play. So here is Edwards, front end of a 1-and-1. That was the 9th team foul on West Virginia. So after this, K-State will be in the double bonus. But this is a big free throw. And Justin Edwards cannot get the bonus. Well, it's a big miss here, nearing the 2-minute mark. Well, you see the guys that are in the game and the guys that are in foul trouble. And right now, Holton is over there on the far baseline trying to shake off the after effects of that last flurry. Now 2:13 to go. We thought this might be a physical game, and boy has it ever.
Oh, no question. Get the contact in there. And plays above the rim. There are no easy baskets. This game was not for the weak.
It's a man's game today.
You better strap him up tight, Dave. You got 2:13 left.
Hey, they don't call it the Octagon of Doom for nothing.
Big 12 basketball. This is the first one of the league season. What a great one.
It's going to be like this all year.
And, you know, you've got to protect the home court with Kansas State. You're West Virginia, you're trying to steal one on the road.
Page coming off a screen. Carter has been bottled up today. Lob inside, though, and a nice play to Elijah Macon.
Macon's been very successful. A nice dive to the rim as his defender stayed too long on the ball screen.
Wade saves it, and he's fouled on the play. That foul called on Daxter Miles. That'll be his third. And again, now Kansas State in the double bonus.
Well, how about the presence by Wade?
Yeah.
Throw that over his shoulder to his teammate, Awandu.
Kind of rubbing that knee a little bit as he was tackled on the play by Daxter Miles. Wade comes back with 10 second-half points. Back to a one-point lead for the Wildcats.
For the freshman, Dean Wade is not afraid of the moment. He has stepped up huge in the second half for Kansas State.
Page, a little short, but he tipped it home. Actually, I think it went off Wade, but they'll give the credit to the basket to Page.
And Page is in there battling again, and
23 lead changes, and Page with a steal. Big turnover by K-State.
Edwards got caught in the sideline. Still that 1-3-1 pressure. It was kind of soft. Now get more aggressive by West Virginia and trapping out that 1-3-1.
Page again. Boy, he is really forcing the action. No basket, but he'll go back to the line. They're going to call it technical, aren't they? Daxter Miles came in for the rebound and then hung on the rim.
And the reaction by Huggy Bear.
For whatever reason, Daxter Miles came in on the follow, and then he thought there were K-State players in the vicinity, and he just hung on that rim. And when he pulled himself up like that and did the chin up, that's where they call the technical.
You're right, Dave. You cannot do the chin up. You can hang, but that chin up, that is a no-no.
So they'll shoot the technical. Stokes, I think, is going to do that. Miles with a technical foul. Stokes, by the way, 6 of 8 from the line today. He'll shoot 2. Coach Huggins, while pleading his case that shouldn't have been a technical, I think even he understood that his sophomore guard, Daxter Miles, didn't do the smartest thing.
But he's also telling him now, you got to forget it and play on.
I should correct myself, 1-shot technical, and that had the opportunity for Stokes to tie the game. Instead, we're going to come the other way now and shoot free throws for Jayshawn Page. He was fouled on the initial play before the technical.
And Tariq Phillips in the game for Daxter Miles, Jr.
Page 5 for 8 from the line, 22 points.
Carter has struggled, but the senior, Jayshawn Page, has stepped up huge for the Mountaineers.
We'll get you to Lubbock right at the conclusion of this game for Texas and Texas Tech. Missed the second one. Right now, West Virginia matching their biggest lead of the game. 1 minute to go in a 2-point contest.
Now the 1-3-1 pressure is out. A little more aggressive.
But that also leaves some holes on the backside of that, doesn't it?
Well, we ran Wade in the middle last time and scored.
3-pointer off, no good. one and done as Carter comes up with a huge rebound for West Virginia. Page screaming for the ball. He tells everybody clear out. He wants to go one-on-one with Owandu. Step back three. Over the back. That'll send DJ Johnson to the line. A foul here on Elijah Macon. Not necessarily great news for Kansas State. Johnson 0 for 3 from the line today, and just 9 of 23 on the year.
Well, Macon over the back. DJ Johnson with an excellent block out.
How about that? Good for him, huh? DJ Johnson. One to tie it with 21 seconds to go. Steps up and calmly hits them both. Wow.
Now remember, there's no 5-second closer guarded call in college basketball. So Carter can run this down.
So for the last shot of the game in regulation, Carter, no, Wade, rebound, ahead, Owandu. We're going to overtime. Wow.
Carter clears him out, attacks. Wade clears it. Owandu at the horn.
That would have counted had it gone just a little wide right. So we'll play an extra 5 minutes as we go to overtime. Why not? We've had 12 ties in this game, 24 lead changes. In a game that has been closely fought, Kansas State and Bruce Weber's Wildcats, they led by as many as 9 in this game. West Virginia went into that 1-3-1 zone, which really kind of bottlenecked things for the Wildcats. That's been a key for Bob Huggins' Mountaineers coming back in this contest.
We'll see if he sticks with it here in the extra session. Has been successful.
Yeah.
Both teams leaving points out on the court. At the free throw line, West Virginia 10 of 18, and Kansas State 22 of 37 from the line.
I'm so impressed with both these teams and the way they fought. And just to think this is the very first game of the Big 12 season. I think this is a precursor of things to come all season long. The #1 rated conference in the country by RPI. They were #1 last year. 3 teams in the top 11 in the country, 5 in the top 25, 7 in the top 45.
And West Virginia comes in ranked number 19. Kansas State with all these new faces and freshmen in their lineup. Precursor of things to come in the Big 12. There's going to be no easy W's in this league.
Owandu doubled. Every time Owandu gets it, he gets a double team. Looking inside to Johnson. Shot clock down to 4. Long three-pointer. Barely caught iron, and a whistle and a foul. And this will be called against Elijah Macon, excuse me, on Macon. And for him, that's his 4th foul.
Macon in disbelief.
DJ Johnson going to the line. Let's get you to the ESPNU studio.
All right, Dave, just want to remind everyone over on ESPN News, it's Big 12 action between Texas and Texas Tech, the Red Raiders with an early lead. Back to you guys in Manhattan.
All right, thanks a lot. DJ Johnson, Brendan, he keeps just hitting these free throws at the most important time. 4 in a row for DJ Johnson after going 0 for 3 to start the game and 9 for 23 to start the season. 2-point Kansas State lead. Three-pointer off, no good. Awandu. He'll knock it out of bounds up over the back of Devin Williams. It'll stay with the Mountaineers. Williams, by the way, in this game, just 2 points and only 4 rebounds. That's the guy that's really hurt K-State the most. Jaysean Page continues to have a big day. 25 points for Page, 6 better than his previous career high.
It seems that every out-of-bounds under is set up for Page to score, and he has answered the bell time and time again. Again, K-State kind of playing around the perimeter of this zone. Got to get some penetration.
Stokes trying to do just that. Now Wade back to Stokes with 5 on the shot clock. Awandu for 3. Johnson trying to keep it alive. Now we have a whistle and a foul. And this one will be called on DJ Johnson. That's 4 on Johnson. Well, we've talked about free throw shooting today, how important it is for both these teams. West Virginia 10 of 18 from the line. Meanwhile, K-State 24 of 39. Tariq Phillip, a 68% free throw shooter on the year. First one today is short. Back to a 1-point advantage for the Mountaineers and the 25th lead change of the game. Timeout taken by Coach Weber. We'll take it with him. Right now a 1-point lead for West Virginia. Well, you look at these two teams season in review. West Virginia at 11-1 on the year, ranked 19th in the country. 10 players average 10+ minutes per game. That's true again today. They really do a great job in not allowing many points per possession. And you look at Kansas State, really Awandu is their leading scorer coming back, and both losses to top 25 teams, to North Carolina, to Texas A&M. They lost each of those by 10. So now you're in a coaching battle between Bruce Weber and Bob Huggins, two guys that have won a ton of games. For Bob Huggins, 776 wins in his career, 385 for Bruce Weber.
Well, there's some coaching going on in these huddles. And we'll see if West Virginia, they showed full court pressure before that timeout. They try to make you play left-handed and keep you guessing. And Carter up on the point of the press for West Virginia.
A lot of guys on the verge of elimination from this game with fouls. Javon Carter, you just saw, he has 4 in this game.
It may be one of the reasons why Bob Huggins went to that zone. They're back in the 1-3-1, just to show a little disguise, full court pressure.
West Virginia has 3 players with 4 fouls each. Awandu was expecting someone to come in on the backside, and he throws it away.
Well, Wade was wide open, but he went out to screen. There was no one guarding him. Awandu misfired.
You got to believe that was a set play called out of the timeout, and they weren't on the same page.
Oh, he was in the right church, but he threw it to the wrong pew.
Amen. Williams. And he'll go to the line. Well, Devin Williams hasn't been his best day. Just 2 points, 4 rebounds in the game. And I'm sure he was challenged by his coaches to try to make an impact here in overtime.
The leading scorer for the Mountaineers had a tough day at the office. And he can make up for it here at the free throw line.
Well, the free throws have not come easy for either squad. And you look at West Virginia now, 11 of 21. DJ Johnson playing with 4 fouls right now.
Well, Johnson has been impressive, especially in the second half. Physical and aggressive.
So it's a 2-point lead for the Mountaineers. Little mix-up here at the scorer's table. They thought that last foul was called on DJ Johnson. It wasn't. That would have been his 5th. The foul instead on Wade. That's his 4th.
Kansas State has really not solved this zone. They played around the edge.
Wade tries a 3. No. 2 Wildcats fight for it. Comes back to Wade.
One of the weaknesses of your zone, a 1-3-1, is the backside rebounding. Johnson and Wade have attacked the glass.
Remember when it was a 15 rebound lead for West Virginia at the half? Well, that lead has been trimmed to 9. K-State is out rebounded West Virginia in the second half and overtime.
It's been the freshman Dean Wade and the junior DJ Johnson.
Phillip. Crowd thought he walked. Phillip with a nice runner.
A strong move. Cup the ball so the hands couldn't get to it. And off the window. See Wade flashing to that high post area. But there's a guard from West Virginia dropping there all the time.
Brown, strong move. Carter had to let him go. He's playing with 4 fouls.
Good patience by Brown. Saw the gap, took it all the way to the rim.
Tied again, nearing the 1-minute mark of overtime. Page. Carter, spin move, tough fadeaway shot. Wade does a good job of sealing 2 Mountaineers underneath the basket.
And Barry Brown, the guard, rebounds for Kansas State. Bruce Weber talked about his guards have to get involved on the glass, and they have all afternoon.
The lob inside, Johnson. Sealed off. Good recovery by Williams. A 1-2. They call that a tie-up. The arrow gives the ball to West Virginia.
Well, that cross-court play to DJ Johnson was the same one that they tried to throw to Wade. That went out of bounds.
We'll get you to Lubbock just as soon as we can. Texas and Texas Tech are underway already on ESPN News, if you want to watch that game. But right now we're in overtime here, tied at 75 all, and you look at this game with 34 seconds remaining. West Virginia with the ball.
And you got a 4-second difference on the shot clock and the game clock.
Well, let's get you a quick update. Let's go back to the ESPNU studio.
Thank you, Dave. A reminder, Texas taking on Texas Tech over on ESPN News. It's also streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app. It will resume on ESPNU, but not until overtime is finished. Back to Manhattan.
All right, thanks a lot. 75 all. You know, I remember calling a game one time between Iowa State and Missouri that went 4 overtimes. You ready for that? You ready to work a little extra
That's
today?
hazard pay, Dave. This one may go down to it now. He got this possession.
That's bonus pay.
Hey, we do this for nothing.
Well, don't tell them that. West Virginia going to buy some clock here. Phillip. Page. Shot clock at 2. Kansas State will get it back with 4 seconds remaining in overtime. They might go to the monitor to see if that ball was tipped. The other thing you have to look at is the shot clock.
Yeah, excellent point.
So they're going to go over to the monitor to see if the ball was tipped on the out-of-bounds play, but then you also have to keep in mind, where's the shot clock? Couldn't tell from that if DJ Johnson got a hand on that.
Yeah, the ball hits the backboard. Does Johnson touch it first? And if so, this is going to be 1 second or less on the shot clock.
They're going to put 4.1 seconds on the clock. Actually, it should be 5.2. And again, have they ruled that DJ Johnson tipped that ball? Kansas State decides to use a 30-second timeout here. So they reviewed it and didn't think that the ball was tipped, so it belongs to Kansas State with 4.1 seconds remaining. They've got to go the length of the court.
Wesley Awandu is going to get the ball in his hands. Great open court player.
Coach Weber asking, where do we inbound the ball from? So that's how he is designing his play, based on where they will get possession of the ball.
And Bob Huggins is waiting to see where that's going to be so he can set up his defense.
He still has a timeout to use if he chooses to do that. And they're still deciding where the clock should be set. I thought when it hit the side of the backboard and went out of bounds, there was more like 4.8 to 5.2 seconds, somewhere in that range.
It also may matter where it hit the backboard, because if it hits the side, the ball is still played. It hits the corner of it.
Right,
Dave.
right there with 5.3 seconds to go.
Does it stop at that point, or does it stop when it
Well, that's
lands?
true. Or when it lands, and there was about 4.6 when it landed. So they're going to go back to the monitor again to get this right. Coach Huggins still pleading his case with Tom O'Neill, thinking that ball was tipped. As far as we know, what we determined kind of by sign language with the officials was that they ruled that the ball was not tipped. Now they're just trying to determine how much time should be left.
Correct. It's going to be Kansas State's ball, and they're going to have anywhere from 4.1 to possibly 5 seconds to go the length of the court.
Right. So now they want to see this end zone look, to see the clock at the top, to see where it's at. That's where it hits at 5.2 and then touches down at about 4.5, 4.6.
And that is more than enough time. They go the length of the court on a dribble.
Oh, yeah.
And get a good shot off.
What you have to be concerned about, too, is a foul situation. You know, either an offensive foul or a defensive one. That's the last thing you want to do if you're either team, is try to determine this at the line. And that's, you know, the officials also know that as well.
And also the question is, Bob Huggins going to trap that first pass when it comes in?
And again, we'll get
try to make a steal.
We'll get you to Lubbock, Texas, just as soon as this game is over. Now they're also checking the shot clock, because it looks like now that ball was tipped by DJ Johnson from that angle, and there may be 1 second left on the shot clock. So if they determine the ball was tipped by DJ Johnson, West Virginia would get the ball, and they would have 1 second remaining on the shot clock.
Which is time for a catch and shoot with 1 second on the shot clock.
So in a sense, by re-looking at the replay to determine how much time was left, at that point, they determined that the ball was indeed tipped when they got that baseline look. And you saw DJ Johnson's hand go back, and I think it's the right call.
Now you can make, obviously, in the last 2 minutes of a game, go to the monitor on tipped balls going out of bounds, and now they're calling the two coaches together at midcourt.
You see, Bruce Weber had already set up a play to try to go the length of the court, and now he's got to set up his defense.
And you can see Bob Huggins with his board in his hand. Tom O'Neill making the explanation to both coaches.
And so far, neither coach is all that happy. Bruce Weber is in disbelief.
We're going to get from the official right now to find out what this official ruling is.
So they're going to put 4.6 on the game clock, 1 on the shot clock. They did rule the ball was deflected by DJ Johnson. So now you got to design a play offensively to get a shot off in 1 second. It's basically inbound the ball and shoot it.
Or you can throw it up for a tip.
And the crowd has just realized what's going on. And now Bruce Weber wants to use a timeout to make sure his defense is set.
Well, this is a good timeout, too, mentally, because they thought it was their ball, Dave.
Yeah.
Now you've got to get your team focused on we have to make this stop, and we still have time to take the ball to the basket and get a good shot.
Well, a lot on the line here in a game tied. 1 second on the shot clock. It's an inbounds play. Do you throw it toward the rim and just hope for a tip home? Is that what you're designing, or do you throw it into a corner and try a three?
I would screen your bigs and then throw it up near the rim and let them tip, especially with the size and bulk of West Virginia and the aggressiveness.
Now, all teams work on this exact thing on an inbounds play at the end of a game.
Well, you see him tapping the head here of Javon Carter in the huddle. Maybe the play is going to go to number 2 in goal. But they've got 4 stacked right in front of the rim, Dave.
Wow. This is going to be some kind of battle.
You got Williams in there at 6'9", Holt at 6'7.5".
Well, a lot of pushing and shoving going on, fighting for that position.
Was a defender, you're allowed space in between 2 offensive players. As Iwandu is trying to climb in there between Williams and Holton.
Phillip to throw it in. Carter, fadeaway jumper at the buzzer. Brown trying to find the handle. No, we're going to a second overtime. Wow. Tied at 75 now. To a second overtime we go from the Octagon of Doom. I thought both teams really did well there. Javon Carter, that's a tough shot, trying to make a fadeaway from the corner.
But we saw his teammates pat him on the head.
Yeah.
So I suspect it might be a decoy inside and run him out. Didn't quite get his shoulders squared to the basket on that last shot. And we're going to go another 5 minutes, Dave.
All right, who has the edge now going into a third overtime? When you look at all the numbers here today, Kansas State, they have 2 players in foul trouble. Johnson and Wade each have 4 fouls. You look at West Virginia, they have 3 guys with 4 fouls. Carter with 4, Adrian with 4, and Macon with 4. They also have a slew of other players with 3 fouls each. And I would think that the Wildcats, even though they've struggled against the 1-3-1 zone of the Mountaineers, they're doing a little better in their last 3 or 4 possessions against it.
They've been patient and got the dribble penetration, but I think Bob Huggins had to go that zone because of the foul problems.
Let's go back to the ESPNU studio. Fellas?
Okay, Dave, a reminder that Texas Tech is on ESPN News. They're going to stay there for at least 5 more minutes of game time. 8 minutes left, and Texas Tech up 21-12. It'll be back on the U, but not until you guys are done. Back to you.
Boy, a big start for Texas Tech in that game. Thanks a lot, Brendan, for that update. And again, we go into another overtime, the end of regulation. This is what happened. A chance for Iwandu to win it. His shot at the buzzer went wide right. Carter, his went wide left. And you saw that Brown could never quite find the handle. So here we go to a third overtime.
Mountaineers staying in the zone.
I think I just said third overtime. I meant second overtime. And here we go. Fresh 5 minutes. And each team gets an added timeout.
West Virginia trying to set that defense for a sideline inbounds. There's always one guard pressuring the basketball.
Brown. Nice shot. There's a freshman stepping up for you.
Oh, that was huge. Little ball screen, the top of the zone. Nice play by Bruce Weber. Brown comes off and delivers.
16 points off the bench for Barry Brown. Page throws it out. Dexter Miles for three, and he's fouled on the play by Brown. 3 free throws for Dexter Miles.
But ball screen by the big DJ Johnson. And the freshman, Barry Brown, delivers.
Then he fouls at the other end on a 3-point play. Miles going to the line where he's 1 for 3 today. 64% on the year. Free throws have been a big part of the story today. West Virginia 12 of 22. Kansas State much better in the second half, but still 61% for the game.
Well, that one got the taste of all the 10.
Also a big part of the story today for West Virginia, just 3 of 19 from 3-point range. They're not a good 3-point shooting team as it is. 31% on the year for the team, but only 16% today for Bob Huggins' squad. Chance to take a lead, though, with 3 free throws.
And only 12 points off of turnovers by West Virginia, where they're averaging 29 a game. Excellent game plan and ball handling by Kansas State.
So Miles will come out. Phillip will take his spot. Brown again trying to drive. Oh, nice little hop step.
The Browns been able to split the seams of the zone. Hesitation, dribble, and explosion.
Brown now with 18.
These are two heavyweights just trading punches.
That ties a career high for Brown. He scored 18 against South Dakota. Carter, no. Phillip, he got the rebound, and he is fouled by Brown. That's the 4th on Brown.
Well, Brown's been good on the glass. He thought he had a solid box out, but ran into Phillip chasing down the basketball.
Well, Phillip goes to the line where he's 1 of 2 today. Tariq Phillip with 12 points in the game. His previous career high came against the Jayhawks when he scored 13. He's got a chance to match that right now. Awandu. A lot of that was for show. There really wasn't that much contact.
No, Bob Huggins waving his team back to take off the pressure, get back in the 1-3-1. But Kansas State has found the gaps in this zone defense.
Coach, we've been tied 17 times in this game. Brown, big 3, no. Williams with a huge rebound for the Mountaineers. These guys have got to be getting tired now. Working in the second overtime.
Well, West Virginia 10 deep.
Williams from the short corner. And a foul on Holton, fighting for position on the rebound.
Well, West Virginia, one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the country, and here's why: they attack all the time. And Holton trying to just run his man out.
His man, Barry Brown, will go to the line. That's the 4th foul on Holton.
And that shot that Williams hit, that was the shot Kansas State was going to give up. Going to allow him the 17 to 18 footer. Devin Williams making K-State pay on that one.
They're going to go back to the monitor. I think they want to make sure as to who should be shooting the free throw. So the points by Williams, the foul on Jonathan Holton.
There's Williams out of the corner.
And they did determine that it was Brown that should be at the line. And Brown now with a new career high. In fact, the leading scorer for K-State today. 20 points for Brown. Six of those have come here in the second overtime.
Well, he has been cool. Another day at the office for Barry Brown.
Williams, good spin move. And a foul, I believe, on DJ Johnson. Let's see, it is. And that'll be number 5 on Johnson. So DJ Johnson fouls out.
And when Williams went to the high post, that was a game plan to play off of him. Smart move by Williams. Drive it, initiate some contact.
So Johnson leaves with 6.6 rebounds today. Williams goes to the line. 1 for 2 at the line today.
Williams is 70% shooter on the season.
And 4 big free throws made by the Mountaineers here in the second overtime. They lead by 2 again.
Well, Williams, no doubt on that. He's back there leading the charges now. The back of the defense, shouting out instructions. Devin Williams trying to will his team to victory.
We've had 29 lead changes in this game, and the biggest lead West Virginia's ever had is 2 points. And now a big turnover by the Wildcats. They haven't had many of those, but that's their 15th of the game, and it comes at an inopportune time.
Well, that one on Barry Brown. He has been sensational, but that time dragging a pivot foot.
Under 2 minutes to go in the second overtime. Oh, good change of direction. Doesn't go. And the ball is saved by Owandu on the baseline. Page fouls him. That'll send Owandu to the line. That's 3 fouls on Jayshawn Page.
And during that entire rebound possession by Owandu, the West Virginia coaches trying to get Page back in the defense.
Now they just warned the West Virginia bench. Coach Huggins said, "I wasn't talking to you, I was yelling at my players." And that's believable.
He was. West Virginia is so used to full court pressure. He's trying to back him off now. Page pressuring the ball and fouling 70 feet from the basket.
Owandu has been really good since the halftime break. Now 16 points, 12 of those coming after intermission.
Well, very quiet first half by number 25. He has stepped it up here.
A little bit of pressure by K-State. Now they'll back off. Who's going to make that stop? Who's going to make the special play? Coming down to the last minute of the second overtime. Phillip Little floater that'll go.
They're bringing Devin Williams up for the high ball screen. It's a big body to get around. He's creating some space for dribble penetration.
Ooh, dangerous pass. Wade saves that.
Boy, active hands by West Virginia.
Wade for three. Page with a good rebound. Now West Virginia can afford to take some time here with a 2-point lead. Tariq Phillip. Again, there's no 5-second call anymore when you're dribbling the ball.
And again, Williams up there with those high screens.
Shot clock down to 6. Daxter Miles saves it. Fight for the rebound, picked up by Hurt. Bounce pass, Owandu. Blocked at the rim, goes out of bounds to West Virginia. Coach Weber upset, thought there should have been a foul call on that baseline play. And then K-State loses the ball out of bounds. 4.5 seconds to go.
Now Wandu with the penetration.
I'm not sure there really was any contact.
Clean block, and Owandu then tries to pick it up, and it's off his fingertips.
Tough call. Didn't go Coach Weber's way, and now they've got to steal the ball. Trailing by 2 with 4.5 seconds to go. If you're just joining us, where have you been? This is at the end of regulation. A missed shot by West Virginia. Wandu with a chance to win it. And then at the end of the first overtime period, Carter with a chance to win it. Brown couldn't find the handle. And to the second overtime we go, where West Virginia has done a lot of damage on the free throw line and have a 2-point lead. Bruce Weber, he needs to design a steal right here.
And also, West Virginia has a timeout left, actually 2, so if they can't get it inbounded, the player has to call it now, Dave. The coach cannot call it from the bench.
Right.
But you're right. Kansas State has to try to steal that inbound. If they don't, they've got to foul it immediately.
They've got to foul immediately. If they can draw a foul, that'd be great, but you're right. If they don't steal it, they got to foul.
And they can't be selective in who they foul.
Right.
It has to be the first person on the catch if they don't get a deflection or a steal. Now we'll see if Bruce Weber puts anyone on the basketball.
Brian Roletter, a walk-on, now on scholarship in his senior campaign, has checked in for the first time today for the Wildcats. So he has put his quick lineup out there for Kansas State as quick as he can get. He's brought in Corby Irvin. He has Justin Edwards. He has Stokes in there. He has Owandu in there and Roletter.
And Roletter is known as a defensive player. That's why they're going to try and read the inbounder and get the steal.
And they're checking the clock again to see how much time should remain here. And the ball goes out of bounds right there. Boom, 5.1 instead of 4.5. They're just checking the time now to make sure that is right. I believe they're going to add about a half second onto the clock.
And Bert Smith going to have a discussion with Bob Huggins about what they're doing here. You see Marcus Pettigren, the official there, asking for the rewind. They want to get this exact.
Well, they added up to 5.4 now. So they had almost another second.
Now Wandu's going to be on the inbounder. Long arm. See if he can get a deflection or a tip. Williams, a big receiver from the Mountaineers.
Carter's got it, and they immediately foul him. They'll send Carter to the line to shoot a couple with 4.1 seconds remaining.
And that's the guy that West Virginia wanted to touch the ball, 87% free throw shooter, Javon Carter.
So they inbound the ball to their best free throw shooter, and Carter goes to the line.
Leading for K-State, 29, 9-25 for West Virginia.
Kansas State led this game for 29 minutes. West Virginia's only had the lead for under 10 minutes in the game. They have a 3-point lead now, and Bruce Weber wants to call a timeout. Now this next free throw will tell the story for Javon Carter. So Kansas State using a timeout here, trailing by 3. There's not much you can design, though, Coach, if Javon Carter hits this next free throw.
Well, this is huge because it's the 2-possession point spread. If he can get it to 4.
You know, on a day where it's been a disappointing day offensively for Javon Carter with just 5 points, a guy who averages 13, he's got the game in his hands right now. If he makes this free throw, West Virginia's going to escape with a win.
And design play by Bob Huggins to get the ball in his best free throw shooter's hands. Javon Carter, who said 87% from the line.
Game will get you right to the Texas Tech game. Carter hits it in a 4-point lead for West Virginia. Last thing you want to do now if you're the Mountaineers is foul.
So they're going to show a little token pressure to slow down.
Stokes, 3 at the buzzer, no good, and West Virginia survives in double overtime. The final score, 87-83. Now coming up next, let's get you right to the game between Texas and Texas Tech. Let's send you to the United Supermarkets Arena in Lubbock, Texas. And we say good afternoon from Bramlage Coliseum in Manhattan, where West Virginia comes back and wins in double overtime by the final score of 87-83.